Hello and welcome to Skills in Automation. My name is Ash and today we're going to look at one way to find the last used row in a range of data. Specifically, we'll look at the range.end property, which is synonymous with the Ctrl plus arrow shortcut in Excel. Just a quick note, this slide will repeat in each of my videos on finding the last row since we'll follow the same format and cover the same examples in each video just with different techniques. Please skip to the next timestamp if you prefer. So, one of the most common tasks that you would come across in VBA is finding the last used row of a data range. Three common use cases for finding the last row are: identify the full range of data that you may want to perform some task over, example, to loop over the data, change formatting, etc. Copy and paste the range of data elsewhere. So this is a continuation of point one, but a more specific and common example would be where you want to copy the data and paste it in another worksheet or a workbook. Paste new data at the bottom of existing data. That is, we need to find the first row with unused data below our data range and paste new data in there. We'll cover each of these three examples in this video. And just a bit of housekeeping, I want to mention that there are many ways of performing the same activities presented in this video, but for this video, we will not spend much time discussing alternatives. This video is designed to deep dive into just one technique of finding the last row using range.end property. I have separate videos that discuss each alternative method and one video that briefly discusses all methods together and suggests which one to use and when. Please do check that out as well. If you use Excel on a regular basis, then the range.end property is the most intuitive way of grabbing the last row of a data range. Select the first cell with data in Excel and press the Ctrl and down arrow key. This will take you to the last used cell with data within the same column for that set of data. The same goes for Ctrl and the other three arrow keys. Pressing them together will take you to the last cell with data in the direction of the arrow, provided you start from a cell with data in it. It's time to address two caveats. Caveat 1. If you start from a cell with no data in it, Ctrl plus arrow key will take you to the next cell with data. Start from cell A1, hit Ctrl down. It takes us to A5 because that's the first cell with data in it. And if we hit the Ctrl plus down arrow key, it'll take us to the last cell with data in that column. And caveat 2, if you're at the end of a data set and hit Ctrl down, it'll take you to the cell in the very last row in Excel. So let's hit Ctrl down now. And we come to row 1,048,576. This is because Excel tried to search for the next cell with data in it, couldn't find anything, and ultimately reached the cell in the last row and stopped there because it couldn't search any further. This is intuitive to understand if you're already at the end of the data set and know that there is no data underneath it. But consider a data set with only one row. For example, suppose we have only headers and no data in the worksheet. Here, the first and the last cell with data are in the same row. So now, if you hit Ctrl down from the first cell with the intention of reaching the last cell with data, you are in for a root shock. So let's do that. Hitting Ctrl plus down now. Your cursor will go to the very last row, and if you're doing this through code, you may be misled into believing that the last row with data is this 1,000,000th row instead of the actual last row of data just being row 1. This point will become clear when we go through the code in this video. And finally, I have mentioned this already, but I want to make it explicitly clear. Ctrl down or the Ctrl plus up is only going to look for data within the same column as the starting cell. Same logic applies for Ctrl and the right or left keys. This is the biggest drawback of this method because the last row of data within one column may not be the last row of data for the entire data set. Okay, we have spent a while talking about the Ctrl and arrow keys, which are an Excel shortcut. But what has this got to do with VBA and the range.end property? Well, it's the exact same thing. The range.end property allows us to move across the data set in the same way that the Ctrl and arrow keys do. And that's why if you're new to VBA, this is the easiest method to pick up. And I'll admit that though this isn't the most efficient method to find the last row, it is still the method that I use most commonly. Okay, enough talk. Let's get coding. Before we begin coding, I just want to mention that throughout this video, I will refer to the worksheet using the worksheet code name. So instead of going this workbook.sheets, we can simply use the worksheet code name. And the code name can be found in the properties menu out here. There are many benefits to this, but we won't get into it now. Okay, moving on. As I mentioned in the last section, if you have worked in Excel, then the most intuitive way of going to the bottom of a data set is pressing the Control plus down arrow key. Let's try that in VBA. First, we'll declare a variable to hold the value of the last row number. We'll start from the first cell with data, which is cell A1, dot, and we'll choose the N property. We have 4 options here. Each represents an arrow key. We want to go down, so we will choose Excel down. But this will give us the value of the cell in the last row with data. We need the row number, so we need to select the row property. Let's have a look at the value of this variable. To print the value in the immediate window, we will debug.print the value. Let's run this, and that's 12. And our last row is indeed 12. So this gives us the correct row number. And we may be forgiven for believing that this is a good enough method for finding the last row. But we'll quickly run into an issue which I had mentioned in the previous section. Consider a data set with only one row of data. Now, we normally use VBA to help us manage repetitive tasks over dynamic data sets. With that in mind, we might not know if there is any data on our worksheet before we execute our code. If there is no data, or even just a header row, then we would expect our code to return 1 as the last row number. But Control plus down on row 1 gives us the millionth row. And range.end Excel down will do the same. Let's confirm that. So we have just one row of data. Let's run this code. Yes, just as we suspected. But that's not what we want. We want the row number 1. To get around this, we need to start from below and then Control plus up. Example, if we start from the 20th row and do Control plus up, we come back to row 1. Let's try that through code. So we'll start from range, say 50, and this time we will choose Excel up, and we want the row. Let's run this and see what we get. We get 1, which is the right answer. But this is not sustainable because we'll start getting wrong answers the moment the data set expands beyond row 50. So the better option is to start from the very bottom, that is from the millionth row, and go up. So we can replace A50 with our millionth row, but we can't be expected to remember this number. Thankfully, we have the count property in the rows collection, which will return this exact same number, and we can use that instead. Let's show you what I mean. So let's print rows.count, which is going to count all the rows in our invoice worksheet. Run this. Great. This is more convenient to use, and we are going to stick to this for the rest of the video. So let's feed this into our code above. We'll remove the number and concatenate the rows.count property. And let's run this. We get 1, which is exactly what we want. And let's run it on the full data set as well. We get 12, which is the correct answer as well. Now, we can use the cells object instead of the range object to get the exact same result. Using cells instead of range is a good option if you want to make your code dynamic. Let's choose cells. So we're going to start from the bottom cell and Control up. We need to feed in the row index and the column index. For the row index, we will use our rows.count property, and we're looking in the first column, and the rest of it is the same as above. And Excel up dot row. Let's run this. We get row 12, which is the correct answer. One last thing to mention here before we move to the examples. If you're working on our active sheet, we don't really need to mention the worksheet name, which will make our code shorter. Let's check that out. So let's activate our sheet. If you're already working on the invoice sheet, then you don't need to activate it. And the code for finding the last row using .range would be reduced to just this. And the code using cells would be reduced to just this. But out of habit, I always mention the worksheet name. Okay, moving on to the examples. Let's identify the full data range and select it. So first, we'll find the last row in column A. Our data range sits between column A and column J. To select this data range in VBA, we'll start from the first cell, that is the cell on the top right corner, which in our case is cell A1. And to find the last cell, we will look in column J and use a last row variable to come to the last cell. So we'll go .range, start from the top left cell, which is A1, and then go to column J. But since our code is dynamic, we don't know what the last row number is. And with that, we can just use our last row variable. And that's the range. And we want to select it. Let's run this. Great. The entire range is now selected. To make this more dynamic, we need to consider that we may not actually know the last column either. Rather, the only known fact is the start cell, which we will use as the anchor to find the rest of the information. Now to do this, we will use the cells object instead of range for this example. So we'll go cells, and we've already done this. The row index will be rows.count. Column will be just column 1. And we're going to go control up, which is end excel up. And we want to find the row. Now, for this example, we need to find the last column as well. Let's do that. So let's dim a variable for the last column. So this time, we are going to look in row 1 and we're going to go to the very last column and control left to find our last used column, which is column J. Let's do that through VBA code. So our row index will be row number 1 and the column index will be the total number of columns in the invoice worksheet. And we're going to do control left. So that's Excel to the left. And this time we're after the column. Now we can determine our range. We will start from cell A1, which is the cell in the first row and the first column. And we can use our L row and L column variable to determine the last cell. So the row index is our last row variable and the column index is our last column variable. And that's our range. And what we want to do, we want to select this range. Let's run this. Great, that works well. One way to select the range is by feeding the range into a range object and using the range object going forward. So this is our last row. Let's dim a variable to hold the range. And we'll set the range by identifying the range in the same way we have done so far. Now that our range variable is ready, we can just go ahead and select it. Let's run this. The entire range is selected. And one last use case before we move to the next example. Let's loop over this data and print the word invoice in every adjacent cell in column K. So we found the last row. To iterate over a range, we need a counter or iteration variable. So we will loop over a data which starts from row 2. So every corresponding cell in the current row, which is row I, and we'll set it to equal to invoice. Let's run this. And that's worked as well. Okay, moving on to the next example. Here, we'll identify a range of data as we did in our previous example, and we'll copy it over and paste it into a new worksheet. Let's clear the contents on the destination worksheet first. So just cells.clear, and we'll get the last row of the range that we want to copy and identify the data range that we want to copy. And what do we want to do with this? We want to copy it and we'll add the first cell of the destination that we want to copy the data over to. So we're just going to paste it in cell A1 in our worksheet copy 2. And let's auto resize the destination columns as well. Okay, that's our code. Let's run this. So our data here should have copied over into our copy worksheet, and it has. So that works well. Moving on. Here, we'll identify the first unused row after our range of data and paste the new data here. And we're going to grab our new data from our copy from worksheet. So these are our 2 lines of data that we're going to copy over and paste it at the bottom of our existing data range. First, we'll find the last row of our existing data range, same as what we have been doing so far, and move 1 row down. We will use the offset method where we'll offset or move to the next cell 1 row down while staying in the same column. So just add offset out here. Or we could just add 1 as well. but we'll stick to offset for this example. Now let's go to the data that we want to copy over. We'll grab the last row here in the same way we have been doing till now. And let's copy this data. So we're going to copy from the second row and our data extends till column J. And we found the last row right up here. So let's use that. I'm going to copy this and paste it into the first cell of the unused row that we have identified in the start. So this is the last row offset by 1. And that's it. Let's run this code. Here we can see our 2 new rows of data pasted right below the 12th row, which is the last row in our previous data set. And that's it for finding the last row using the range.end property. You could easily search for the last column using the same technique. This may not be the efficient of all the available methods to find the last row, but I always use it for the pure convenience and intuitive nature of the code. It is a quite literal translation of the Ctrl+Arrow shortcut in Excel. The main drawback being that you're only able to search in one column or one row at a time, and the result that you get may not be representative of the rest of the data set. That is, the last row on one column of data may not be the last row for the entire data set. But here's my take. If you know your data set well and know which columns will always have data in it, then it's safe to use this method. And as mentioned earlier, there are other ways to find the last row. I have separate videos on those as well as a video combining and comparing different techniques. Please check those out as well. So, which method do you prefer and why? Please let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video useful, please like and subscribe. Thanks, and see you in the next one.